So I wanna know where you come up with these numbers.
It's not my intention, I took what I
Well,
thought was.
There you go, you're thinking.
And the
These are the actual, if you would come to the meeting, Chris, these are here every month, and you probably get these copies every month. You know where we're at. You're the assessor. You should know what we're getting in for money. You are the assessor, correct?
I don't take it this sheet.
You don't get this sheet?
No, I do not.
They don't get this sheet?
Yeah, we have it here when it comes to the.
Well, you know what? When we get in our regular meeting, he needs to know what's going on. And if you come to the meeting once in a while, you know what's going on. Second time I've seen you in a year. The last, you might as well stay home the last meeting because you didn't even come with a budget thing. I thought we were gonna talk about a budget thing the last meeting. What a waste of time mine was at that cow meeting. What a waste of time, Chris Larson.
Last week? No,
I thought we were gonna talk about the budget. Nothing was said about the budget. Now we're talking about.
I thought we were talking about a town meeting last week, I'm sorry.
Cow meeting, we were talking about.
Yeah, we had a cow
It was on the
meeting.
agenda, no one talked about the budget at all.
I didn't ask for the item on the budget.
Anyway, go ahead, Chris, I'm sorry. I'm just gonna pipe off every once in a while.
So that's the, you got the rest of that.
Did anybody?
I have-
Yeah.
Lisa?
She agreed.
Lisa said that she had asked for the line to be on the agenda last week for the budget.
All right. So the other thing that I've done is, I looked at, obviously, the proposed budget, and then I put together a budget based on, obviously, what I think that the office needs. And I also have a sheet that kind of goes over what the changes are to that.
Changes to this one that
See
you just
that.
handed to us, Chris?
As far as the changes from where we are to this one. It
Yeah,
doesn't
these
outline-
would be this is, so I took the budget and technical review on the website.
Mhm.
Then I created a new budget, I guess, or my new proposed
Your
budget,
proposed
which is what I
budget,
just
okay.
passed out. And then
And
I
these are
also,
reflect the changes that are in your new proposed budget. This page
yeah, and
reflects the
this
changes.
other sheet sort of tracks those. So my goal was so that everybody could see kind of what I did there. So, I mean, all right, so we go over this. I mean, I don't think it's it's a surprise. I think that, you know, the office needs 4 full-time people to operate efficiently and get the assessments done. We've got commercial, we've got residential, we've got farms, permits. I've kind of tried to give you sort of an overview of those areas. So what my proposal has in it, obviously, is then funding for 4 full-time employees. And basically, what we'll be doing is taking the 42 that's in the part-time, moving it up to full-time, and then adding 34,000 in salary to what's already been allocated. That would allow me to have 4 full-time employees. The health insurance, I have some numbers from Lisa, so based on those numbers, whether it's in your proposed budget, with an extra person, I'm thinking that we'd have to add about $6,000 to the health insurance number, and I think that would be
And how
enough
much of the
to
health
add
insurance is-
somebody.
How much of the health insurance are your employees kicking in?
Right now, I believe it is 66,000, plus myself,
Mhm.
is the cost of the insurance, and that's
That's
minus the
what
10%,
percentage?
minus the 10%
You pay the
contribution.
10% of your
Right.
contribution.
Yeah,
Your employees, what
Yeah.
contributions they, because that has been a discussion in the past,
Right,
where the employees on the other side of the house have been contributing and your employees did not.
right.
So is your proposal to have them contribute the
Yeah.
same amount as the other employees?
Yes, and for this budget year, the 10% that everybody is contributing, then they would also do that. So that's the number is 66. And if you add that to, you're at 72, so 6,000 less, so I said add 6,000, roughly 12,000. It's just an estimate, obviously, because I don't know exactly what, you know, the person, if they're,
You
would give
base
me
that
a-
estimate on which figure, because depending on age is what the
Yes.
insurance comes up.
Right, and I'm just trying to come up with a number. I mean, you're right, I don't know if you're, you know, so you're waiting, allowing me to have a fourth full-time person, then obviously I'd have to look at that. I don't know who that person would be or anything. I mean, you know, my goal would be to try to get, you know, the staff that we had, you know, prior to September, but I don't know, you know, what's gonna happen. So I'm just trying to come up with sort of a medium range number there as a starting point, I guess, kind of there. The terminal rental, that's 512, 529, that one I increased by 1,500, only because if I get a fourth employee, then it's $150 per person per month for the terminal rental fee for the county. So that's why that would go up by 1,500 for that person.
They can share,
Please explain that it's not really terminal rental, but it's license renting.
To explain the difference between, it's not really a terminal rental, it's a license that came up.
okay, all right,
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
this came up just recently.
Right, it's, yeah, if you want, I can explain. So what happened was, the county used to provide the service through what's called a T-line. So they used to direct line into the county, into the township, so we used to have the access to the programs through the T-line. And then the county discontinued it countywide, is my understanding, and I think that's what they did, is what they told us. So they changed over to a VDI, virtual network, virtual something out of a VDI system. And so with that system, we have to enter in through the internet. So that's why we have to get an internet connection, and then we can enter in. Now, the good thing about that is you can enter in from anywhere. So you can be at home, you can be on vacation or somewhere else, and you enter into the system, and you can get into it. So yeah, it's not it's not a terminal rental in the sense of the but it still at least asked me to reach out to Marty Paulson, which I did. I emailed him, and he said to me that, yeah, the fees, the $150 is to account for the, you still got the maintenance for the ProVal and the Ascend programs and the licensing and the other, I guess, other things that IT does with the whole VDI that still have to be supported. And so that's why it's still, we'll still be charged for that. So that's, that, how we want to phrase it, but that's that. The continuing education, so right now what's going on is, so if you have a CIO designation, every 4 years you have to take continuing education. So the cycle ended last year, so 15 starts a new cycle. 15, 16, 17, and 18 starts a new cycle for continuing education. So during that 4-year period, you have to have 60 hours of continuing education. So the average class, the 2-day class is 15 hours. So if you take one class per year, then by the time you're done, you get to the 60 hours. And so you have to do that in order to maintain the CIO. So what I changed in continuing ed 512, 541 was just to add a class for all the 4 employees, whether it's up to 5, and the average number is $350 for the class. It can vary from $370 to $300 to $320, but $350 was kind of like an average number for the class.
But not all your staff are CIOs.
Right now, 2.
2 are CIOs.
2 are
So
CIOs,
only
and
2
then,
of CIOs would get the continuing education credit.
I'm sorry?
Only the 2 CIOs would get the continuing education credit.
Right, there's 2 plus myself, so I mean, we've got 3. And then the other person is working towards the designation, so it's already taken 2 classes. So there's 2 more from the IPAI, and then 1 that's from IDOR, Illinois Department of Revenue.
So are you proposing to pay those classes?
Proposing to pay for that person for one class for the next 2 years or whatever it is to get the designation.
I would have a problem with that only because it is not, we do not pay to get your CIO, we pay to maintain your CIO. And I think that starts a bad precedent. I've been looking into getting my CIO. Are you willing to pay for my CIO? I'm gonna talk to Chris this afternoon and say, Chris, maybe you should get your CIO. You know, are we going to be responsible for having Chris take a CIO?
Well, when I did it, I paid for my own, but I wasn't employed in the assessor's office. So I can tell you that my speaking with the other assessors in the other offices is that they they hire somebody, then they paid for the classes for that individual. So I'm just trying to follow along with what the other,
So there isn't,
That's all.
there aren't people that are qualified off the bat? Like, there's very few qualified people in the workforce, like if you did interviews outside of your old employees, your former employees, you don't feel that anyone would apply that's qualified? Already trained?
I don't understand it. I mean, are you saying that maybe if somebody
Like
was already a
maybe,
CIO, then they might apply?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Instead of having to hire someone and then train them.
Well, I guess the question would be, whether there's, funding available for that person to be employed and be employed for 3 years, or until, my term ends, or whatever it may be. I think the person would be looking for something, along those lines, so.
And this is actually, I'm just reading from Lisa's text. Does the state still do a stipend for CIAOs?
For the
Yes.
state?
Yeah, the state still provide a CIAO?
Last year they did,
Okay,
yes. I
so-
don't know,
So
they did last year.
Lisa would like the board to consider
They did last year.
that if there's a CIAO, a stipend from the state, that's deducted from the continuing education line.
Mhm.
So it's not
It's
double
like
dip.
double dipping.
And that's only if you take 2 classes, so what I'm proposing here is the one paid class. So if they only take 1 class, then they are not entitled to the stipend.
But why
You
would
have to
they
take,
take one
you have to take
class
2.
and 2 would be compensated?
I'm sorry.
Why would they only take 1 if they need 2?
Well,
No,
they
you
would
only
be
need 1 for continuing
compensated.
education.
No, right, but if 2 would be compensated, so 2 are free. Is that what I'm understanding, or am I
No.
missing it? Isn't there a stipend if you take 2?
Yeah, if you
If you
take,
maintain your.
if you take 2 classes and you pass them, then right now, and that was last year, I don't know what's gonna happen with Ronald's budget this year. But yes, last year, if you took 2, then you would put in, and then the Department of Revenue would pay, I believe last year it was $500. Right. But if you take 1, which all I'm saying is you need 1 class to
Understood,
maintain your certification. If you take 1 class,
right.
then you wouldn't receive the stipend. So, I suppose if somebody has the available funds to be able to pay, the $350 plus perhaps hotel, depending on the IPAI, it could be further up. So depending on what they have, they might have to pay for lodging and then sort of maybe well over $500. So I don't know what would, all I'm asking is just the one to maintain the certification. So, and then I made an adjustment to the per diem and lodging, the 512, 544, only under the assumption that if I was able to have the 5 classes, then there would be hotel stays, and I've written that out here, so I think you could see what I said. And then the per diem would have to be increased because of that situation. So the total was like 2820. It's not in addition to, but the total line item there then would be 2820. And then I needed to have an additional line item for internet, and we had discussed that briefly before with the fact that the county went away from it.
So going back to, this is again coming from Supervisor Rush, going back to the training, given the reduced revenue, is there distance learning, meaning computer-based? Can they do these courses online and not actually go into a brick and mortar facility?
No, there's no computer-based
Okay.
or online training. There are, again, IDOR, Illinois Department of Revenue, has some classes, and it depends upon where they're located. So there's proposals to have a couple in Libertyville. I think one is already scheduled for Libertyville, and then there was a proposal, I think John Barrington from ELA was working with either IDOR or IPAI to have a class in Libertyville. So that would, I mean, if it's IPAI, then there would still be a cost, but there wouldn't be a travel associated with it. But for IDOR, I think they have one in Libertyville, and I don't know if they have any else around here. So that's the only other one that they would be free, essentially, or no cost to the class, part of it. And then the internet part of it, because the county now requires us to be on the internet. And when this happened, and I talked to Lisa about trying to bring over the internet, I understand that there was an issue at that time with the firewall, and so there was some concern about doing that. And so I talked to Lisa, and she went ahead and got Comcast to put in a line over on our side. And that's $132.85, and so she did that, by the way, and I think that's, whatever she got was probably the most cost-effective plan, I believe. So that was like $15.94.20 a month, and
Just to be fair, when he's talking about firewall, physically a brick firewall in the building, not some technical
Oh,
firewall.
thank you, because I am thinking
Yeah.
software like a.
It's not a software, hardware issue, it's a physical building structure issue.
Gotcha, thank you.
Yeah, right. So, and I've had conversations with the trustee, or if you want, with the trustee Larson about the internet part of it, and the fact that maybe there was a way to be able to do something to bridge in with the supervisor side of the town side, and I don't know, but I mean, if that happened, then obviously that would resolve that issue. So that's that.
Chris, can I make a suggestion? That we close that meeting, open up the regular meeting, bump budget up on the agenda, and then continue on with this discussion under the regular meeting, but with the budget discussion up at the top.
Yeah.
So, with that, we'll adjourn the finance committee meeting.
Yep.
I so move.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.
Since Lisa's not here, she asked me to run the meeting, so our regular monthly meeting. If it's okay, we can waive the pledge of allegiance, unless somebody wants to stand for the pledge of allegiance for our monthly meeting. We've already said it. Want to stand? We can do it. What's our?
I know Bob's preferences to do it, so.
Okay, we'll do it. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
Now, we've established a physical forum, and Supervisor Rush would like to participate electronically.
I got that all in the records, and I got the attendance noted.
You gonna call the roll? Might as well,
We've already called the attendance, and say people are here, so I'll
Okay.
attendance, and I have,
We're
they're
waving the
also
roll
noted
call
that
then,
this
and
is
then we do the
attendance.
pledge of allegiance, waving the roll call. Any public pardon me, Lisa? What'd you say?
She wants to do a voice for roll call.
Voice, okay.
Okay, Delmar,
Here.
McNeil,
Here,
trustee Larson.
Here.
Trustee DeGrove. Here. Supervisor Rush via electronics.
Here.
Also in attendance is Clerk Kirby, Lisa through the phone, Office Manager Dave McCartan, and Assessor Denton, and Highway Commissioner Kula.
did you say your name?
I said my name.
Okay.
And also Attorney Dees.
Okay, we got all that done.
Now, why don't you look for a motion to move that budget discussion and possible action up?
You wanna do the,
So moved.
Second.
okay. So, okay, we'll, have a, all, you want roll call go up, or you want all in favor? Let's do all in favor. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Motion carried by acclamation.
Okay, now we're back on the budget.
Should we move that to like old business?
Well, I thought we should have done public participation
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
I think it's all the same.
Seeing there's
Why
no
don't we just
public here, so.
Move into the budget discussion.
Let's move right into budget, I guess. We'll finish that up then. Then we'll go back to our approval minutes and all the other stuff, so. On recommendation for our attorney Dees, we'll go right back into budget discussion. Put it on his shoulders.
I'm just being pushy today.
Put it on his shoulders. Okay, so where were we on the budget?
I think we just got done talking about classes.
Yeah, you were talking about classes.
Okay, and then the last item I had as a request was given, you know, the situation, what's going on, I just was asking for an additional line item under professional services for attorney's fees. And we've had, obviously, some expenses in that regard, and so there's some, I guess, potential outstanding, so I have that number in there for attorney's fees. So that's it from my side.
So with the increase in the budget that you're proposing, where are you proposing for us to cut other line items in the budget?
Well, I haven't, you know, gone over your budget, I'm sure, not your budget, pardon me, the supervisor side, I'm sure I could. At one point we did, and we were able to cut out quite a bit and have a balanced budget on that side and funding on this side. So if you'd like me to, I'm sure that I can do that.
I think it might be interesting to just see what you propose, because we've been cutting the town side of the budget continuously, and did, you know, even for this budget year, because at least 4 out of the 5 members of this board ran on running within the budget, and the tax dollars that they've been allocated, and have been sincerely trying to make those efforts. So, there has been deep cuts that we all regret. We hate making the cuts we have to make. One of them was, for example, the increase in the fees that the employees pay for their insurance. That was part of our budget decision in order to try to balance the books. So, amongst other things.
I mean, unfortunately for me, you know, the Illinois statute requires me to do a job, and then unfortunately I need people to do the job, and it is what it is. I've got to be able to do the job.
Certainly,
If
Chris,
I'm not
you
able
know
to do the job, then the county will step in and.
I understand your
you know,
position on
they'll-
that, I really do,
they'll
but
run it,
certainly you
so.
understand that on the town side of the house, they are also mandated to do a job. And they also have responsibilities that they have to do as well. So we would all feel a lot more comfortable if we did not see the cuts that were made in 2009, and would be a lot better off, but that's the reality we've had to deal with.
And I might point out, you were a trustee when those cuts were put in place.
That's correct, and as I explained before with the levy possibility in 2013,
And then why didn't that happen?
1890, so.
And it did not happen, that's water over dams. This is what we gotta live with, folks. We have to live within our means.
My question is, if you were the assessor then, and forgive me, I didn't understand what role you were playing at that point, why didn't you bring it forward when you kind of could forecast that coming up?
And
So you guys.
Anytime,
strategically-
how come you didn't bring this up anytime?
Wait, hold on.
I'm
You
sorry.
strategically downsized in 2009 to bring down the reserves, I get that. And I totally get the logic, okay? If that was the forecast and then the redecision, where was the feedback loop to make the redecision coming into 2013?
well, I mean, I was obviously in the assessors, I wasn't a trustee at the point in time. There was a new group in here who, you know, I mean, I don't wanna say it, but I mean, there were some people who weren't, you know, particularly, friendly with me. I don't know that they would have taken my advice, so I didn't see a reason to try to reach out and, you know, and tell them their job.
But you're
I mean,
kind of
it's
the
not my
expert.
job to tell, you
Right.
know, I mean.
I mean, if you know your numbers, aren't you kind of the expert? So if there should be a flag on the play, shouldn't that be raised by the expert? That's just a question.
Yeah.
And my other question is, and this is great information, no doubt. Why didn't we get this information a year ago, or 7 months ago, or 8 months ago? Because,
Well,
I mean, it's no surprise to anybody in this room that there's been a lot going on, contesting back and forth with what was going on with these numbers. Why was this not a conversation moving into the crisis?
well,
With
Wait.
us, with all of us.
Oh.
I mean, we're all here every month, right?
Right.
all right, I mean, look, you know, the situation was, last year, I went in with good faith in this process. Started in January, actually early before that, we started the process. But submitted my budget in December and had no issues raised about my budget. None in January, none in February. I was at meetings in February when nothing was raised. I was
I don't remember you being
meetings in
here.
March. I was at meetings in March the beginning of March, there were, I believe, 3 meetings, maybe there were 2. There was a budget, there was a committee of the whole, and there was a finance committee in the first week of March. I was at both of those meetings. I went over my budget, and I think there were questions about, there were some questions asked on that, I escaped me what it was.
Yeah, I
but-
asked things like percentages of budgets, and you talked about cost of parcels.
But, again, and I had staffing, I had everything on there, nothing was said to me. It was fine. And then the day before the tentative meeting, you know, I get hit with, hey, you know, you gotta cut your side out, you know, by $80,000. You know, it looked to me like there was something going on. I came to the meeting, was it the 9th or the 10th, whatever. I presented to you guys, I presented information that night. And I'm sure there's a video of it. And I believe the thought was, the talk to me was that, well, it's your fault. You were on the board at the time. You gotta live with it. You know, basically get out of here. So that's the way I took it. I did submit a budget and I sent it to Lisa, I think I did, and I know I sent it to Chris, trustee Larson, pardon me, the end of April, in which I went through and I did redo the supervisor side of the budget. And we came out with a balanced budget on that side and a budget that would fund my office. I did that.
Lisa, your comment, I'm sorry, your comment was?
2 things happened, Chris. We realized that we were in the hole for $163,000, and the auditor told us if we kept the spending the way that we were going, that we would be broke in 3 years. So we needed to make cuts, and you should have been part of that process.
Did you hear that? She was saying that they did, well, Chris, did you hear it too?
Mhm.
Okay, that what caused the drastic change in the way we were doing the budget is it was determined that we were going to be broke within 3 years because we were so drastically deficit spending. And so we had to rearrange not just your budget, everybody's budget. Everybody had to go to bare bones. So this wasn't personal, it wasn't just about the assessor's office, it was about how we handled it here at the township. And so because of that, every budget, every line item, we went and scrutinized everything in order to be more realistic and to cut it down, to live within the expected amounts that we were going to get through the levies. So that's, I mean, even Bob had to drastically change his budget as well because of that.
Okay,
Did I convey that correctly, Lisa?
Yes, thank you very much.
No problem.
All the trustees, Lisa, I apologize I didn't have this available for you. I didn't have a copy on my phone to be able to email to you. One of the pages that was presented in the finance packet today was an asset position document based on where we're at right now and some possibilities that we could look to explore. But I want to bring everybody's attention to that first item, which shows based on the fiscal year end today without any significant levy increases. Our projection by 2018 is to have a reserve balance of $419,000, which leaves us in that 6 to 7 month operating danger zone. We're depleting anywhere from, and this is assuming no capital infrastructure projects in 2017 or 2018. Where we're losing, anywhere from $120,000 this year based on our proposal to $85,000 for the following years. Based on generally, and I'm speaking very generally, the assessor's proposed budget along with what we're looking to do from the town side.
So here, and I hate to be a fetch about this, but the town side of the budget has cut to the bare bones. I will just bring up our efforts to inform the community about what we do and what's available to them. It's been a key component of our discussion and is near and dear to the hearts of several trustees. So the assessor presents a new budget, and you're saying now we can live with spending and with having these many reserves, but then the town does not get an opportunity to reassess what they would like to put into their budget in order to meet this, because we have drastically cut the support that we give organizations, the grants that we give out, we still do not have the newsletters issue started. And those are the things that are direct services to the public. Just as important, Chris, and I know you have a really important job, but just as important as assessment of the property is the services that this side of the house renders to the public. And I dare say that if we are going to open this up, then we should open it up truly even to this side of the house, even to the town side of the house. Because I'm deeply, and I'm just one person, and quite frankly, now that we're moved to the regular board meeting, I don't even have a vote anymore, I only have it in a finance meeting. But I am deeply touched by our inability to reach out to the public in order to tell them what we can and cannot do and the support we can give them.
Mhm.
And that, I feel, is my direct responsibility. Dave has a question.
I just,
Responsibility as well.
I think that and Chris, I think that the 2015 estimate for reserves is a little bit overstated because remember, we're not going to get any revenue until June. So we're going to bleed off about $150,000. So our projected revenues for 2015 pretty much are in line with 2016, 2017, and 2018 today because we need that money to operate until we start getting cash flow again in June when property taxes commence. Just an observation.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Just go
I
through
don't
ending your
see
balance.
that.
It's after the budget, the proposed budget.
This
The
here,
colorful.
Yeah, that one. You got it.
but this is not shown as reserves, is it?
Asset position.
Yeah, so that would be our cash balance from the town side.
2015, 707,000?
That's approximately where we are
That's
year end.
today, but we need about $150,000 to get us through until June.
To June.
Yeah, so we're consistently in the high fives, low sixes right now.
But, okay, I guess I am totally confused, I'm sorry, you, Chris, trustee Larson, you say we're gonna be money ahead, but all I see is numbers going down.
So based on our original budget that we had put together that was placed for approval for the hearing in 2 weeks. This year we were making some allowances, understanding there was a quadrennial year, trying to afford the assessor's office of some additional labor to be able to get through what's really a special circumstance for his office, with the intent of being able to roll back after that point. What this is demonstrating right now, Trustee McNeil, is based on substantially what the assessor presented tonight, and us backing off of any capital investment plans, what this would look like by 2018. So this is a projection.
Not spending any money for the town and capital investments, but other plans we wanna do,
Yep,
we're gonna give it to the assessor's office and hooray.
and that's to
Okay.
demonstrate what that effect would be.
Do you have an alternate budget, Chris? Do you have an alternate budget? I mean, I understand that what you're submitting is what you feel is a really solid estimate of what you need. You know, as Jeannie pointed out, we've really gone to bare bones, we've cut everything we can cut. I'm from the healthcare world, where less is more has been our mantra for 30 years. We never really had that economic rate bubble. We flex staff, we fold staff, we staff for what is, not what if kind of mantra. Have,
Part-time people instead
Oh,
of full-time people,
absolutely.
so you don't have to pay
Yes.
benefits.
right, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of fluffing and folding that goes on in hospitals to make it work because, we serve a lot of people that can't pay. So we do. I mean, like I said, it's always what is, not what if. You can't staff to say, well, but if that person calls in sick and she's on, leave and he was in the Bahamas, what would we do? We punt. I guess what I personally would like to see is alternate staffing models. I understand that 4 is optimal. I totally understand what you're saying. In the not optimal world that we're all functioning in, what's doable? That's kind of what I would like to see.
Well, let me say this, I think, when I talk about 4 employees, what I'm talking about is what I believe is the number to be able to efficiently do the job. If you're asking me what really needs to be in that office, mean, I think it probably needs to be somewhere along the lines of what's in Vernon and Warren, which is probably 5 full-time employees. So,
Are they punching
I'm
a
not
clock?
asking for 5.
Are these people punching a clock so we know they're putting in 40 hours a week?
You gotta look at their
Budget.
income though.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah,
have a
we,
budget.
I would love it. Chris, I'm not
I understand.
arguing with you with, I know you need it. The thing is, we don't have it.
So wait, let me,
No, unfortunately, I'm not arguing with you that you need almost $400,000 to run that off. I'm not arguing with that.
nobody
The
is.
thing is, we're only taking in 500,000. And you want 400 of it. Okay, leaves us 100 to run our business. And we wanna maybe help the ball fields out. We got other programs to do. I'm not arguing with that. And you talk about these other townships, look at what they're taking in. They're taking in $1.5 million. I tell people in other townships what we're taking in. We take in $500,000, they laugh at me.
Yeah,
They laugh at
They
me.
do.
Really?
And
It seems to me, and I'm gonna go back to our October budget committee meeting that we had, and I brought this up and I know it wasn't received very well, but one of the only long-term fixes that we really have as a township to be able to operate properly is to consider, a levy increase.
And until that
By
happens,
referendum.
trustee Larson, I'm not gonna go with it. Good luck going to the polls with that.
No, I understand
I
that.
think that we deserve it, but good luck going to the polls with it.
so are there any other staffing models that can be looked at, and are these salaried employees, are they hourly employees? Like, are they accountable to be here 40 hours a week?
My staff is here as we're open the same number of hours as the supervisor's side.
Okay,
We work the exact same number of hours as the supervisor's side.
so that's, they each work 40 hours a week, they don't like run out for lunch for 2
Whatever
hours
is
or
work, that's-
have other business operations that they're doing, they're physically in the building working, or on the field, I mean, I
Well,
know
in the
there's,
field, right, it could be in the field, could be up at the county doing.
no doubt, no doubt, please
Correct.
don't misunderstand, I mean, but doing township business, they're each doing 40 hours a week, so you feel
No,
you
that's
need, I'm sorry?
30, are they doing 36?
I don't know what it is, whatever the number is, I think it's
36 is full-time hours.
36 and a half or 37
And are they salaried or hourly?
salary.
So, I mean, that's a nice gig if you can get it. Most of us don't work, most of us salaried people work 50 or 60 hours.
I was
You
gonna
know,
say 60.
hey,
I'm-
if the supervisor wants to change the hours and make it, 8 to 5, then I'll do that, absolutely, 100%.
Well, you're in charge of your own hours, like us being town,
Yeah, I mean, you made it clear we weren't in
highway
charge of your
commissioner to
staff.
do it.
So,
You just,
Or you're out?
if you're running that far behind and stuff, maybe you ought to be working 40-hour work week. Not 36. If you're running behind, I run behind, I work longer hours.
join the club. I just think there may be other staffing models that could be considered to accomplish the task. That's my,
And what I'm looking at here, compared to the yellow version that trustee Larson proposed to us, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, he's asking for 61,000 roughly and some odd change more than what you have in your budget right now. I'm just total figures.
Ballpark, yeah.
Okay. So, what you're asking for, is on display is $61,000 more. And correct me if I'm wrong, what we take in extra this year, like 1%, so that's like what we take in, like $5,000 or $6,000 more this year?
Yeah, it was,
I don't remember what the figures
It
were
was
this
not
year. but-
significant.
Figure 1%, we're 500,000, so that's 5,000,
yeah.
I don't think it was 1%.
Yeah, whatever, so,
So I guess I understand to some degree, because I know we've had some conversations, Mr. Assessor. You took some time to explain to me the involvement with commercial properties and whatnot. And I found it very informative, and I'm glad a little bit of that has been reflected in your presentation that you had earlier during the committee meeting. Now, I understand it's a quad year, I understand there's significantly more work involved with that process. But understanding the revenue problems that we're suffering here as well. Is this a one-year proposal for your budget that you're looking at? Is this a multi-year number that you're looking to attain?
Well, look, this is, I'm just trying to, give you, what I think I need, to run it. And I'm happy to dialogue with you, after tonight. And I'm happy to answer any questions anybody has after tonight. Email me or whatever you wanna do. And, well, I can, certainly continue to engage in this and see where we can go. I'm just here to try to present, my side tonight. I wanna say it's the right side. I understand where you're coming from, so I'm not naive to that. And I think that, sure, we need to probably, have some more some more conversations, and that's fine, obviously, absolutely. So, yeah, I'm more than willing to, to go over whoever's available, I'm, one-on-one, more than willing to, to look at it and go over things, so. Yes.
All right.
Okay, with that being said, any other discussion on the budget? All right, we'll move back to, I guess we'll go back to item number 4, public participation on agenda items only. Guess there's no public that's not been here already.
Hello, Jane, didn't get a chance to say hello to you or anything.
So we'll go to number 5, approval of the minutes. Everybody got the minutes in the package? Need approval of the minutes?
There are 3 sets of minutes in your package. The first one is the February 9th meeting.
So we need a motion to accept. Okay, Kathy makes the motion to accept the minutes. Need a second?
Second.
Trustee Larson seconds.
Got it.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carries by
Motion carries.
acclamation.
Okay,
And I always try to point out if I think there's something that you really need to address, to pay attention to. And the next 2 minutes were meetings I didn't attend. But I did have Dave, who attended, look over the minutes. Lisa would have looked over the minutes, but she was ill, so, but basically the first one is the special meeting, which, was the issue with the transfers. Chris, you might wanna pay note, make sure that your comments were in here. I believe they are representative, but let me know. Also the end of the year fiscal, bills that we paid. I didn't see anything earth shattering, but let me know.
I think you have these 2 flip-flopped, because I was here for the meeting on the 2nd.
Yes, you were here for one of the meetings on the 2nd. You were not here for the special meeting, you were here for the committee of the whole meeting. There were 2 meetings that day.
Must have got, I thought she might have got in.
Yeah, you came in a
One.
little late.
You came in at 7:14. I have it noted in the minutes for the February 9th committee of the whole meeting.
You're not gonna sneak by Jeannie.
Well, people try.
Is there any other corrections?
But I was here on the 2nd, late, on the last meeting.
This is the second.
Yeah.
No, last week.
Oh, I'm sorry, this,
I was here.
it says, this is the committee of the whole meeting. I don't know how the February 9th got on there, it's dated wrong.
It should be March
It's
2nd.
March 2nd, that's
For
where.
March 2nd, I was here, but I was late.
Right, and that's what's
Okay,
indicated in the
yeah.
minutes.
It's,
The
Okay,
date,
no, that's
the date
fine.
on the minutes is
these are the
incorrect.
these are the March 2nd
Okay.
dates, but I
I
did,
swear I was here
So
last
the-
week.
you were,
All right, well, we'll tackle that.
yeah.
Next
So
one,
we need
okay.
to, let's do first the special meeting that you weren't here for.
Any other comments on that, or corrections in the special monthly board meeting on March 2nd? Seeing none, I need a motion to accept those
I
minutes.
so moved.
Second.
And trustee DeGrove and trustee Larson seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the second one needs to be amended, which I will do, change the date to March
March
2nd.
Got it, yes, that's correct.
That's
correct.
That's the one you
Thank you.
attended late.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Trustee Larson makes the
Second.
motion. Trustee DeVille seconds. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The reports.
Wait, I'm sorry, is my comment in there about the fact that we should have been discussing the budget after all this while we were on?
For which meeting, Lisa?
The last
Committee
week.
of the whole.
The committee of the whole? No, what did you want to put in that?
And I'm very disappointed, we should have been discussing the budget last week as well. Since there was so much squawking going on about the budget.
You did make that comment, without objection from the board, I will add it. And how I will add it, I will say Supervisor Rush. Wanted to proceed.
Proceed on the budget.
To proceed on the budget, discussion on the budget.
Discussion, that sounds good. Discussion on the budget. That sound
Is
all
that
right for
okay
Lisa?
with you, Lisa?
Well, she
Yeah, that's up front.
didn't really say that.
What'd she say?
She wanted-
asked you if you had
Yes,
anything,
that's okay.
she asked me if I had anything
On the budget.
on the
Yeah.
budget.
So
But
Supervisor.
she wanted to talk more about the budget, it didn't happen.
I think the frustration was evident though.
Mhm.
She could have done it.
Do we need to recall the previous motion?
We'll need to amend the minutes, because you made the motion on
Yeah,
that one. so-
so I'll make a motion to recall and amend the minutes pursuant to Supervisor Rush's comments.
Need Kathy to second that?
Yeah, second.
Okay, so first and second, and I have it
Sorry,
noted.
I was coughing.
That's all right.
That's fine.
And then we need a voice.
Yeah. Any other discussion on it again? That being said, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now we go on number 6 on the agenda. Lisa or Supervisor Rush, do you have any report, or you just want to read it, your report?
Give a recap of what's been happening in the office.
Okay.
Just since we actually had a meeting last week, we've actually got one more GA that we're working on, so we're up to 3, which we've been kind of quiet for a few years, and so we're actually on 3 GAs. We're starting to see a little bit of an uptick in people coming in, asking for assistance. Water bills are being shut off, and of course, with March 1st being here, the utility companies are going to be done. Paint job is finished. There's a few little touch-ups that have to be done, but all in all, I think everybody's happy with the layout. And I want to thank Robin, who made a recommendation on how to trim out some of the cedar or the cinder block out there. If you see anything that comes to a point, she said, why don't you trim it out in the trim color, and it actually does accent the walls nicely. So thank you, Robin, for her interior decoration modes. And that's about where we're starting to see an uptick in business, and we're here every day.
Yeah, you can see that in the phone call record.
Yeah.
Okay, the only other thing, because I'm having coffee. The only thing is, I would like everyone, once again, please send me your,
Bios.
Bios.
is that?
We all got it.
And also, the only 2 people that have replied to the,
Topic.
that have replied for the topic today are Lisa and Chris. I need everybody to reply.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else, Lisa?
That's all I can think of.
If you think of something later, shout out. All right. Highway Commissioner Kula, got a report, anything or not?
Yeah, you guys have it in front of you,
It's in your book.
Okay.
it's in your book there, just to recap. This last board meeting, we responded to 6 weather events. I guess the most notable thing on my report there is I attended the Lake County Housing and Community Development meeting February 11th. It's their like annual meeting, so we did get the revision in the scope approved by the county. So what's gonna happen now with Stub is instead of a project cost of $430 or some change, it's gonna be $201. We cut the project in half. Well, I talked to you guys about this last month, but just to recap really quick, we cut it in half. We're doing the half that has all the homes on it, the other half we're gonna let go right now, just because we just can't afford it, and I'm not gonna spend that kind of money, so. But what the county did do is they approved the revision in the scope without a reduction in the grant. So you should have in your packet there, we have, so the estimated cost from our engineers is $201, but our grant is still gonna be $100. So I'm really, really happy about that. And then going forward, in the years to come, my plan is next year, what we'll do is we're gonna take a break. I wanna recoup our money, I wanna let the money build back up and then just spend when we can afford to spend it. So, next year we'll do our normal road maintenance, we might do some small paving jobs. resurfacing, but the bigger projects are gonna go on hold every other year, so we'll, build the reserve back up next year, and then we'll look at it the following year, if the money's there, we'll do it again, and then we'll take the year off and go with that approach until something changes with the income, but that's gonna be my approach from now. That's the way we have to do it, we can't afford to do it any other way. And then, on that note, so the stub's already advertised in the paper, but the bid opening will be, next week, the 17th, right here at the Township Building. And then the next thing we've been talking about with the county is a shared salt storage facility. We don't know who's gonna host it and how we're gonna go about it yet, but we have another meeting coming up this week. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to avoid the situation that we had a couple of years ago when we had the harsh winter, where everybody ran out of salt and then we were getting gouged on the salt. So what we're gonna try and do is everybody's gonna try and start banking salt in this major facility and store salt. So when we do get into these winters where we get real bad and everybody runs out of their allotment for the year, we have this emergency salt that's built up. Everybody has some in there to draw out of when we need it, so we don't get gouged. So that's our plan. That's the county's plan. Everybody else is kind of working towards it. So that, and the next TOI conference, I'm going with Suzanne. We're going next week, but they're offering it. Springfield, they're offering here, they're offering it there, but we're going to go to Naperville, so we can do it same day. I don't have money in lodging. I just don't put it in there. I try and do everything via webinar or online, however I can do it. So the Naperville was nice and close. We can go there in one day. We can drive there, do the conference, come home, and we're done. So that's what we're doing, and that's it for now.
I have a comment from Supervisor Rush, who says she wishes to thank Highway Commissioner Kula for working so closely to his budget, even though it was cut so drastically, and always to thank him for the use of Suzanne.
And Bob, on that salt, you got all the salt in, or you need room, or how's your salt situation? You're probably full, right?
We have a bin that has some room in it right now. We have, I told you we took that second barn, we had the other newer pole barn. We made a salt bay out of that just so we could store, because what happened this year is we had to order salt. We had to take all of it prior to the end of November. We talked about that just because of the price. So we do have that bin's full. We have another bin that is partially full. So what we're gonna do, and the nice thing is this contract that we did with Lake County is a 2-year contract, so it's automatic renew. So we're gonna still get that amount of salt we want for next year at that $69 a ton, right around there. Really, when you look if you look online, if you go on the state's website, you can see what these other townships and villages have paid through the state bidding process. It's significantly higher, so it did work out well to go out to bid with the county.
I guess my question though, you have to take any more salt in?
No, I took the allotment for the first bid, and then the second, we're at our minimum on the second one, on the second contract. So I do not have to take any more salt in right now. I don't anticipate, I'm not gonna take in any more salt, but that way. Because we use that one bin that we have that's empty now, we use that bin for dirt, in the summertime for our landscaping work and rehab stuff, so.
I was down by the county highway the other day, and their bins those domes are full. They could probably get some more in there, but they're pretty full.
They're pretty full. Well, they just took, they did just take another pretty big order, so.
Any other questions for Highway Commissioner Kula? Seeing none, Assessor, didn't you have anything more to add to the meeting tonight?
You have my report in there in your packet. I guess the other thing I comment on is, again, as earlier, the senior freezes out forms. So if you know anybody who doesn't have the senior freeze information, please direct to our office. So 65 or older, 55 or under on income. I've lived in the property for the last 2 January 1st. I'd be happy to help them fill out the form and get it into the county.
Assessor Denton, can we put this, I thought the information was very good, can we put this on our website?
What?
The information about the senior freeze is on the website.
Oh.
Can we put that on the website?
We can do that. I don't know, I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't know, a lot about the website. I wasn't given information on the new website, so I don't know if there's a way for me to put information on the website, or if I have to send it to somebody and then they enter it in, so, just let me know, and, I'll do whatever I need to do.
Lisa said she will get it up and just give it to her, she'll get it
Okay.
to her.
Sure.
That goes for the reader board too, if you want anything on that.
The only thing on the
On
reader
the
board.
digital
out
board,
there,
the digital board out front.
That might be a good thing, put that even on the reader board.
Yeah, I agree, senior freezes.
That might be a good thing. And that, with that senior freeze assessor, didn't I might add to that, I was talking to one of our constituents, and he had a question on the senior freezes and stuff, and you handled it right away, so it was a compliment, it was a good note on Avon Township, so I appreciate that.
Welcome.
I mean, he said, man, he's surprised you got back to him so quick and everything else, so with that being said, it was a good compliment for Avon Township.
Thank you, welcome.
Anything else for Assessor Ditton?
I just wanted to comment again, I want to thank Assessor Ditton for providing us with a comprehensive budget report tonight during our Finance Committee meeting, and answering a lot of questions that were out there. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for the assessor? Seeing none, clerk, you have anything to add to
I
your
do have a
report?
number of things in your packet. First of all, the standard FOIA report and volunteer report. We basically have had one additional volunteer and one additional FOIA this month. Thanks to the county office, we were able to get a list of all the properties within her request, and so our FOIA request was filled in a timely fashion. In addition to the work on the budget and the review to the public that I've been working with, posted all the requests, all done within the timeline stated by statute. There's the public request for agenda items on the town hall meeting was due by March 1st. We have no request for agenda items for the town hall meeting. That was not only just posted, it was sent to every public library, every municipality office, all the newspapers, so that we made sure that we covered every base, because I think that the public hall meeting is something that sets a township apart from other entities of government. Just a reminder for you as trustees, you'll note that you have to fill out your economic interest statements. You should have all gotten your request. You can do this online. It is simple. It is, you get the printout and make sure you get a copy to me so we can put it in the file. So, just.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either, I did it, but I didn't.
Okay, if you can't find your copy, I think you can just go in online and ask for it. But let me know if there's a problem. I did include mine for those of you that haven't done it yet, just so you see it's like the last page.
Do they have, Jeannie,
What it looks like.
a hard copy of that that you can print out? So
Yes, you can go online and you can print out the hard copy as well, or you can do it online. I think, Chris, you have to fill one out too.
Yeah, everybody's got
Every
Every
elected
other-
official
I've
does,
already
yeah.
done it, yes.
I've been doing it for 38 years now,
I
so.
still haven't quite figured that thing out, but I guess it gives somebody's job.
Well, NA is a very popular response for me, so make sure you do that. Also, I put in your package for your edification, a latest email I got from Carla Wyckoff, our new Lake County clerk, in regards to the elections coming up and the deadlines, just so that you have them, and also how to access voter power, so that you have the information and know where it is. And then one other item that I'm gonna be discussing with Supervisor Rush. I just got the information today, and she's ill, obviously, so I didn't get a chance to talk to her about it. There is something I'd like the township to consider. It's a community trust event that's held every year, and they have the Chicago Community Trust. It has such a positive response to it. They've decided to make it an annual event. This year, what it is entities throughout our communities sponsor a meeting. It's called At the Table, and they have a discussion. And this year it's about philanthropy, and they define philanthropy as a spirit of goodwill toward all people, especially when expressed in active and generous efforts to help others. it is the crux of what our responsibilities are here at the township. And I'd like to see the township host one and invite our food pantry, the other agencies that assist Avon Township with, you know, different hardships within their life, and actually have a conversation about what we do and how we can make it better for this community. I do have the toolbox, and I'll be talking to Lisa about it, but I think this is another avenue that's a little outside of the box from what we've traditionally done, but certainly reflects on what we are essentially mandated to do, and also inspire the people that deal with helping others in this community to think about how we deal with this all together as not just as separate entities, but as a system. And I'm happy for anyone to read the toolkit. I'll make copies of it and have it available in the township office. And Lisa, I couldn't talk to you about it today, but I'll be talking to you about this in the near future. And the response has been incredible in the state of Illinois with what has been going on with these at-the-table discussions. And my suggestion is to invite Northern Illinois Food Bank, our own Avon Community Food Pantry, as well as several of the agencies, and also the clients that they serve. So it would be clients and the entities that service those meeting at a table and having a meeting about what we can do to help, how we can make it better, and what we can see in the future for this area. It's I think it's exciting, but you know, that's just me.
Are these just more government entities, or is it like St. Vincent de Paul and PADS and?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, they're even have options for, like, in your neighborhood, if your neighborhood was concerned that your neighborhood was changing and you want to know how to meld maybe a generation gap, you could have one of these to talk about your community and how you can set up philanthropy situations within your community and help each other. So it will reach the gamut of all of that, from individual neighborhoods to entities. Mano does one just for the Hispanic population, and they did one last year, and my last discussion was that they were planning to host one another this year. And I also had a discussion with Bruce, and I've forgotten.
Mikasa?
Yeah, Nikasa, because they would like to join us in developing this for our community, so we have some options out there. So, Lisa, I'm coming to your desk next.
Okay.
She passed out for a while. That's all I've got for my report.
Any questions to the clerk? Seeing none, any of the trustees have anything to comment on?
So I need to know the difference between February and March, evidently.
Oh, well, you're lying.
I was afraid I was confused.
I know, no, I'm ready to be confused.
I've had some conversations with constituents, residents. The message that I'm receiving informally is that for the average taxpayer that I interact with, the services of the township are where their heart lies, where they think we should be focused. And so as we struggle through the budget, many people have brought that up, so.
What are they looking for?
Pardon?
What are they looking for, she asked.
Oh, in particular, a balanced approach to the budget. So that services are not sacrificed.
Okay. Any other trustees got anything to say?
Nice work putting this together, Chris. I mean, we forget to thank you
I
sometimes.
know, sorry. you
Yeah, a
should
lot
thank
of
me.
work has been
Yeah.
through with this whole budget thing. It's-
And Chris, and the other Chris, I mean, I appreciate the information and those
It's,
things.
it's a tough line we gotta go through here, but we'll get through it. With that being said, discussion and approval of the 2015 town hall meeting agenda. It's in our packet.
Tab 4.
This has not been posted.
This would be
yet,
the
right?
No,
time to
no,
bring it
this
up.
is for your review.
Nothing.
Does anybody have anything to add to this as far as the trustees go, or does it look the way we gotta do it? Has it got the right, everything right? I'm sure you proofread it, the dates and everything is right, right?
Lisa spent a lot of time on this.
So if the date's wrong, Lisa, then we have to complain to you, right?
I made sure I double checked the working it out.
Okay.
Usually Lisa messes up the numbers,
Yeah.
but she's got that right too.
Make a motion to approve this agenda for the town meeting.
Yeah, looks
Second.
like it's in there, so.
Wait, snuck up on me, I need to get back to
And the April 12th of 2016 is the right date, I presume?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did check that too.
Okay. We got a motion on the floor, do we have a second? On
I
the,
seconded it.
you seconded it?
Lisa did.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion's carried.
Pass, carried by acclamation.
Let's see here,
Budget's now, or
we got
bills are
executive.
next.
Oh, shoot, I went down too far, I'm sorry.
Bills.
Bill payment, I need a motion or any discussion on the prepaid bills.
I have a question. What's the fire department radio?
It's the red box out here that signals the silent alarm and everything. The big red box on the wall.
You got a fire or something?
Yes, that's the whole monitoring
It
system.
sends the signal to center
Yeah,
that there's an alarm.
yeah.
Okay. I didn't know we had one. And also, the cleaning service charged two different prices. Two of their visits were $52 and then two were $74. What were they doing different? Cleaning carpets?
They,
got new carpets.
Started cleaning the assessor's office again.
Ah, okay. All right, that explains it. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion on the prepaid bills? That being said, I need a motion to accept the prepaid bills.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Larson, seconded by trustee DeGrove.
Has to be was.
Roll call, vote please.
Yep, trustee DeGrove,
Aye.
trustee Delamar,
Aye.
trustee McNeil,
Aye.
trustee Larson,
Aye.
supervisor Rush.
Aye.
Okay, outstanding bills, any questions on the outstanding bills?
Please note that the tinker has a bill in there, and that's because he did not originally include the room that you are currently in his bid.
Oh, yeah, that extra.
Right, but he did throw in the floors in each hallway.
Mhm.
Big gratis for that. And have you noticed the floors?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Did everybody hear what
Yep.
Supervisor Rush said? Okay.
Make a motion to approve the outstanding bills.
Motion on the floor, second?
Second.
We have 2 seconds.
Delamar's got it.
Delamar got it by the nip.
By a nose.
I know.
Trustee DeGrove,
Aye.
trustee Delamar. Aye. Trustee McNeil,
Aye.
trustee Larson,
Aye.
supervisor Rush.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, item number 9, budget discussion and possible action. Do we need to take any action on the budget tonight? Guess not.
Well, we kinda already did it. when
We kinda did that, so we've kinda done that, so. Moving on, executive session. Are we going into, are we going into executive session?
Yeah, we are briefly. Do we wanna do the old business, new business?
That's how I go, if we're gonna go into executive session, just for Gene's sake, and everybody else in the audience, I would move executive session, on hold, and, go down to old business. Is there any other old business? Seeing none, is there any new business? Seeing none, and the old public participation. Anybody wanna talk before, we leave?
Just that 2 weeks from tonight, we're gonna be having the budget hearing, so I think there's some work that has to be done before we get there, so we might wanna be thinking about scheduling
Schedule the meeting.
some more
Oh,
committee meetings.
love it. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
in new business. Set a date.
Do you wanna set, did you hear that, Supervisor Rush?
No,
So you're talking about maybe setting a date, since we have some questions still in the budget, within the next 2 weeks before our budget hearing. You got any particular dates in mind, that way, if they wanna have like a, I don't know, it's supposed to be a cow meeting or a budget hearing meeting, not a budget hearing meeting, talk about the budget.
We'll show it as a special
The
meeting.
special
meeting?
meetings, because we have
Okay.
to vote, we have to have a special meeting.
So you got any dates, or you wanna just get back, when you get back in the office tomorrow, or,
Monday would be the next day.
I don't know, it's, whoever's got, what's,
I don't like
Next
that.
Monday's the 16th.
The 16th.
I can't do it at 16.
trustee Delamar cannot do it the 16th.
This room's,
I don't know, is the room available? No, room's not available for the 16th anyway.
That's okay, we can, since we have such a large crowd, we can move it to our meeting.
But trustee Delamar cannot make the 16th, would a Tuesday or Wednesday work for anybody else? I mean, I'm open most of the time, so it doesn't make a difference.
I can't do any Wednesday, but I can do the Tuesday, Thursday,
Lisa,
Friday.
what's your best bet?
Tuesday, Thursday, she
I
said.
could do Tuesday, Thursday, Friday,
No, Friday's out.
Tuesday, sooner
Let's
the
do
better.
Tuesday,
agreed.
17th?
The 17th they're talking about, everybody looking at their calendar for the 17th?
time should work
Is
for
it
me.
St. Patrick's Day?
Yes,
Patty's Day?
Oh,
yes.
better be a short meeting.
19th?
No, I've already nixed one date, I can't nix two.
You wanna do it the night?
19th?
The Thursday, the 19th?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're ruling it out because it's St. Patrick's Day?
Mhm.
And you got your green on too.
Okay, so we're talking about the 19th now.
At 7 or 6:30?
7?
7? 7 o'clock then, next Thursday, the 19th, 7 o'clock. Special meeting called for talk about the budget.
Okay, I'll skip this meeting. Okay, we got it.
7 PM, right?
7 PM the 19th.
I
And we're-
only booked it till 8 and I closed it, just so you know.
All right, Lisa, did you get that? 19th, 7 PM. Okay, thank you.
You're gonna be late.
All right,
Okay, any other new business or public participation? Seeing none, I'll need a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.